Hola, buenas tardes. Bueno, vamos a entrevistar a la maestra María de Los Ángeles Hoyo. Bueno, primero que nada, muchas gracias por su tiempo, Miss. Y bueno, la primera pregunta es, ¿qué droga usted piensa que es la que se abusa más comúnmente?
Bueno, de las drogas que existen en general, yo creo que de las que se utilizan con los jóvenes serían todas las sintéticas, por ejemplo la LSD. Aquí en México se utilizan muchas drogas como la marihuana, por ejemplo, y es de las más baratas y es la que se promueve más entre los jóvenes, pero hay otro tipo de drogas como es el café o la Coca-Cola en las cuales también se abusa, y aquí en México somos los consumidores número uno de Coca-Cola, por ejemplo, y esto es tarde o temprano una adicción, no es una droga. Pero en el caso de las drogas sintéticas, estas drogas son caras y normalmente es una droga que se consume por necesidad. Y aquí en México estas drogas las consumen cierto nivel de personas que pueden pagarlo. Entonces yo creo que de las más baratas, más consumida sería la marihuana.
Ok. ¿Cuál sería como su definición de una adicción hacia una droga?
Mi definición sería el consumo de algo que ya tienes una necesidad. Esa sería una droga. Por ejemplo, el tabaco es una adicción. Y es una adicción porque tú lo requieres, tu cuerpo lo necesita para sentirte bien. Para mí una adicción es cuando tú necesitas algo que ya no puedes eliminar de tu vida diaria, ¿no? Por ejemplo, hay adicciones de diferentes tipos. Una adicción sería común, sería el tomar refresco, ¿no? Es ya una adicción y no necesariamente podría ser Coca-Cola o cualquier tipo de refresco.
Ok, mucho. ¿Usted qué piensa que es la desintoxicación o qué entiende por la palabra desintoxicación?
Cuando tu cuerpo elimina sustancias que han sido parte de una adicción tuya, ¿no? Desintoxicarse, por ejemplo, los alcohólicos es cuando logran eliminar de su consumo el alcohol, o logran eliminar de su consumo la droga, o logras eliminar la Coca-Cola, lo que te hace, lo que requiere tu cuerpo ya como necesidad, ¿no?
Okay.
Entonces, cuando tú eliminas eso, tú ya estás fuera de esa adicción. Y normalmente en el caso de los adictos a sustancias químicas, como son el cristal y otras drogas, es por tratamientos largos, no son fáciles, y bueno, cualquier droga, el tabaco, es difícil que tú lo elimines, ¿no? Entonces el liberarte de esa sustancia o no requerirla ya es una desintoxicación, ¿no?
Ok. ¿Cuál cree que son los tratamientos efectivos para quitarlas a las adicciones de las drogas en las personas?
Yo creo que los tratamientos efectivos son los que se relacionan con tu decisión. Por ejemplo, estos lugares a donde te llevan y te desintoxican, no sirven ningún tipo de estos lugares ni de programas de desintoxicación hasta que tú no tienes conciencia de que tienes el problema y de que te estás comprometiendo a desintoxicarte, ¿no? Entonces yo creo que los programas que funcionan, el que sea, es cuando tú estás tomando la decisión de deshacerte de esa adicción. Ningún otro programa sirve. Por buenos que sean, cuando tú no tomas la decisión y te das cuenta conscientemente que tienes una adicción, no lo puedes dejar.
Okay. ¿Alguna vez ha considerado en consumir alguna clase de droga?
No, no lo he considerado, pero sí estuve en contacto con ellas. Por ejemplo, en la preparatoria, a mí me tocó que varios de mis compañeros la consumieran marihuana, heroína, y yo nunca estuve de acuerdo en ese consumo. Ahora, si tú me hablas de drogas medicinales, sí estoy de acuerdo, porque eso es lo que ha prolongado la vida, ¿no? Un porcentaje de vida se ha alargado por el uso de drogas y no necesariamente eh, las que conocemos como tal, ¿no? Dañinas, sino medicamentos que también son drogas. Entonces, sí estoy de acuerdo en ese consumo. Ahora también hay drogas que se utilizan para quitar dolor. Y esas drogas, yo sí estoy de acuerdo en que se utilicen. Por ejemplo, pacientes con cáncer avanzado les dan drogas medicamentos o en algunos países marihuana, por ejemplo, para disminuir el porcentaje de sufrimiento en los pacientes. No estoy de acuerdo en que los jóvenes la consuman si no la necesitan, no sé si es algo de decisión personal, no estoy de acuerdo porque una adicción es difícil de dejarla, pero cuando lo usas médicamente, yo sí estoy de acuerdo en ello.
Ok. ¿Qué droga cree que es la más adictiva?
¿Qué droga? Es que son muchas. O sea, cuando lo que comentaba hace un rato, cuando tú dices drogas, la mayor parte de la población piensa en marihuana, en cristal, en otras, pero las drogas más comunes para mí son el cigarro, el alcohol, la Coca-Cola, el café. Y esas no las toman como drogas, pero es lo que más hace la persona común. Y en el caso de las drogas de los chavos, pues va cambiando según las generaciones. En la generación que a mí me tocó, la droga común era la heroína y la marihuana. Y ahorita hay muchas otras, está la de cocodrilo, por ejemplo, que está de moda, que nadie se había dado cuenta de los daños que hace, pero es de las más adictivas.
Ok. Bueno, esas serían todas las preguntas por ahora.
Okay.
Muchísimas gracias por su tiempo.
Estoy para servirles.
Muchas gracias.
Estén muy bien.
Hi, well today we are with Matosicale and he is going to answer our questions. Hi Matosicale, thank you for your time.
No, thank you, because you are always including me in your projects.
Well, the first question is, what drugs do you think are commonly abused?
Okay, I think commonly abused. The most common drug is marijuana, and I don't know what other drug is abused here in Mexico, but I can say that the most commonly mentioned is cocaine and crack.
Okay. What do you think that is a drug addiction?
A drug addiction is when you are dependent to any substance. I think so.
Okay. What is the detoxification, or what do you think that it is?
Detoxification, I think it's the process where you clear your body or your organism of substances.
Okay. Are there any effective treatment for drug abuse?
For drug abuse, I don't think so. I think the only way is like abstinence, because once you are dependent, you will always need it.
Okay. Have you ever considered using drugs?
Only for medical purposes.
Oh. Which drug do you think is the most addictive one?
The most addictive. I think all are the same. It depends on the person who uses it, and the quantification of the substance.
Okay. Well, thank you, Matosi. That's it for now.
For now. Alright.
Thank you for your time. I love you.
I'll see you later.
Hello, today we are going to interview Kevin.
Hello, Kevin.
What drugs do you think are commonly abused?
Possibly, I could say that maybe marijuana, crack cocaine, and I don't know another one. So that's it.
Okay, so now what do you think is a drug addiction?
Drug addiction. When you depends on a substance that can damage your body or something like that.
Okay. What is a detoxification, or what do you think it is?
It's like the process when after you took drugs, after that you like clean your body up because it's like in a bad situation.
Okay, so are the effective treatments for drug addiction?
Effective treatments.
Treatment.
That's like hard to say because it is like something about you because probably there's treatments, but it depends all of you and your motivation of changing.
Have you ever considered using drugs?
Consider maybe, but I wouldn't do it. I can't.
Yes. Okay. Which drug do you think is the most addictive?
I don't know. I will put everyone on the same level.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Hi, teacher Karina. We are here in order to make you an interview about drug addiction.
Yes.
First, what drugs do you think are commonly abused?
Well, I think cocaine or marijuana because they are the most common drugs
Okay.
around the world, maybe, and that's the reason.
Okay. What do you think is a drug addiction?
When you like to consume any kind of drug constantly, it becomes an addiction, I think.
Okay. What is detoxification?
It's when you stop using or trying drugs.
Okay. Then, are there effective treatments for drug addiction?
For me, the only one could be go to a clinic and then try to see an specialist about that.
Okay. Then, have you ever considered using a drug or taking one?
Never in my life.
Never?
Never.
Okay. And then, which drug do you think is the most addictive?
Maybe heroin. I have listened or heard about that. That heroin is the most
The
addictive.
most addictive.
Mhm.
Then this will be all of the interview. We are really thank you to you, teacher, for letting us do this interview.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Alma.
Hi, Eddie.
Could I make you an interview about
Of
drugs?
course, you can make it.
Yeah. Well, first question is, what drugs do you think are more commonly used?
I think the drugs that are more commonly used are LCD or LSD, weed, cocaine, tobacco, and alcohol mostly. Yeah.
Then, what do you think is a drug addiction?
Drug addiction is the necessity of using or abusing substances that can make you feel good, but they are unhealthy for you.
What is a detoxification?
Detoxification is a process in which you have a patient which is addicted to some kind of substance and you try to take it away from his or her system.
Okay. Then, are there effective treatments for drug addiction?
I don't think so. I think addictions are something that you can control but you can never really delete from your cheek, from your body.
You will always have it.
Yeah, you will always have it.
Okay. Have you ever considered using a drug?
Yes, of course. I will do it.
Which one?
I think I have to try alcohol and tobacco and weed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which drug do you think is the most addictive?
The most addictive, I think alcohol or tobacco because they are like used legally and people doesn't really know this when they are addicted to it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Then this will be all of our interview. Thank you very much, Alma.
Thank you.
Willing to do this?
It was a good
Hi, my name is Diego and I'm here with Mariel. Hi, Mariel. Can I make you some questions about drugs?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the first one. What drugs do you think are commonly abused?
I think cocaine and ecstasy.
Okay, what is a drug addiction?
When you can stop consuming a drug, you need it.
Okay, what is detoxification or detox?
When people get all the illness and the bad things that drugs produce of your body.
Okay, are there effective treatments for drug addictions?
Yes, but only if you have, only if you pay all the. Otra vez.
Are there effective treatments for drug addictions?
Yes, but only if you have the will to do it.
Okay, have you ever considered to use drugs?
Never.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
Which drug do you think is the most addictive?
Cocaine.
Okay. Any reason to think that?
Well, everyone is addicted for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Diego and I'm here with teacher Nash and I'm going to ask her something about drugs. Hi teacher, how are you?
Hi, fine, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to start.
Yes.
What drugs do you think are commonly abused?
I think that weed or marijuana and acids are one of the most commonly used.
Okay,
and abused.
the second one, what is a drug addiction?
Is when you are addicted to a substance, which means that you feel the need, okay, and that you are always wanting for more. Like you get to the point until you are always needing more and more and more, and it affects your social life, your work or your school, and it starts to be bad for you.
Okay, third one, what is a detoxification or detox?
Well, I think it has several, well, there are different types of detox depending on the drug, but it's like the treatment you get to have so your body stops feeling like the need or the urge to use the drug.
Okay, have you ever considered using drugs? Have you ever considered using drugs?
Yes, but I can't because I have a disease, a heart disease, so it's like, it's out of my.
Okay, which drug do you think is the most addictive?
I think heroin, right? I think it is heroin.
Okay, and why do you think that?
Because what I have heard, really, I have really not much idea, but I think I have read some articles in that heroin is one of the ones that is like super addictive.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Yeah. Bye.
Hello, today we are going to do an interview to Perla. Hello, Perla, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, so we start. What drugs do you think are commonly abused?
I don't know, any kind of drug can be abused. Starting with weed, I think is the most common, but I'm really not sure, not too used in this drug theme.
So, what is a drug addiction?
It's when you create a dependence of a narcotic, something that makes you feel, I don't know, and in another way, out of your 5 senses. And when you start creating a dependence on a substance.
Yes. And what do you think is detoxification?
Detoxification?
Yes.
Well, that sounds like getting toxins out of your body, like cleaning your body. Okay.
Are there effective treatments for drug addiction?
For sure. I mean, anything is curable, and there are centers of healing to heal people that has been intoxicated too much. And, well, you know.
Have you ever considered using drugs?
No, never. Something that I don't play with.
Okay. And which drug do you think is the most addictive?
I don't know, because you know, drugs are not only like narcotics, but also it could be things that you do or common things like coffee, drugs for people. So I'm not really sure which would be the one.
Okay, so thank you for your time. And that's it.
Hi. Well, you're Julio, right?
Yes, I am.
Well, we're going to interview about drugs. All right. Well, the first question is, what drugs do you think are commonly abused?
Well, I believe the most used drug worldwide is marijuana. And, well, I guess I don't know much about drugs.
Do you think marijuana?
Because it is actually part of some kind of cultures. And it's very popular among some European countries. It's even legal in some.
That's true. The next question is, what is a drug addiction?
Well, as the word says itself, it's when you cannot not have the drug. Am I wrong?
Well, yeah, I think you can. You need it. Well, what is detoxification?
That's a process of cleaning your body in which you detoxify it in order to Yeah, toxins.
Yeah, that's actually what it is. And the next question is, are there useful treatments for addiction?
Well, I don't know much about that, but well, I've seen people who say they are in treatment, and I know a couple of guys who say they successfully stopped using drugs. So I guess that.
Yeah. Well, the thing to stop drugs is like you know it's a problem for you, and you start treating it because your family sends you to a clinic. It doesn't work. You don't want to leave it, so you are not drugs. Okay. Next question is: have you ever considered consuming drugs?
Well, I actually have, but I haven't. Because, I mean, I have thought about all the consequences that can take, and I don't think it's worth it.
Why?
Because most of the effects of drugs are, like, they don't last too long. So, but the consequences, they can even take you to death.
That's true. What is the drug you consider consume?
Well, I didn't actually think about which one.
Oh, okay. In general.
Yeah.
And last question. Which drug do you think is the most addictive?
Well, I know some people who have consumed cocaine, and they say that after a couple of uses, it's really hard to stop using it.
Actually, true. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks for joining me.
Oh, hi. We are with the teacher at City, and we're going to interview her about drugs. So, the first question is, what do you think is the most commonly drug that is consumed?
I think alcohol and cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they are kind of allowed, and even though that they are not like a drug, maybe for me the real meaning for a drug is something that affects your health, and I think they both do it.
That's right. The second question will be, what is a drug addiction?
Drug addiction is when you start consuming something and you really can't stop, even if you want and you can, or even if you don't want and you also can't.
Yeah, that's right. What is a detoxification?
Oh, it's when it's supposed to stop eating or consuming something. It applies for drugs, alcohol, or food even. And you stop doing something and you drink something like another healthy things to clean your body.
Do you think there are treatments to stop the drug addiction?
I don't think so. I think if you really want to stop, you just need to be brave.
It's true. Actually, if your family sends you to a clinic, if you don't want it, you're not going to live.
It's not going to work. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you considered consuming drugs?
Me?
You?
Okay, no. I think no, because at the beginning, I think it's expensive, and I don't want to pay for something that makes me bad.
It's true, but even the Coke or the coffee are drugs.
Yeah, also, I don't drink them.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
The last question is, which drug do you think is the most addictive?
The most addictive? Well, I think that one, Coke. Yeah, because also you can take it and it's allowed for kids, for old people, young people, everybody can consume.
That's true, and it's cheap, and it's the most. Mexico is the country that consume more Coke.
More Coke than any other. Yeah, and also if you want to tell them that it's bad, they always tell you like, I have to die because of something. That's not really a good idea. Yeah. So,
thank you a lot for your time, teacher.
So, can I ask you some questions?
Of course.
What drugs do you think are commonly abused?
I think that marijuana and cocaine, because are the most accessible and the most cheap.
What is a drug addiction?
I think that it's when you depend on a substance that can be like marijuana, cocaine, LSD, or
any other
heroin, and you are always trying to that drug.
Do you know what is detoxification or detox?
No, I don't know.
Are there effective treatments for drug addiction? Oh. Hey, hello, Kito. Can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, of course.
What drugs do you think are commonly abused?
Weed, cocaine, and LSD.
Okay. What is a drug addiction?
When you depend on that drug, you can't control it. And you get like stress.
What is a detoxification or detox?
I don't know.
Okay. Have you ever considered taking drugs?
Yes.
Yes. What drugs do you think is the most addictive?
I think that it's cocaine or LSD.
Thank you.
Can I ask you some questions?
Yes, of course.
Okay, here it goes. What drugs do you think are commonly abused?
Well, like cocaine, LSD, and weed.
What is a drug addiction?
It's when your body depends on a drug to feel comfortable.
Do you know what a detoxification is?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Have you ever considered taking drugs?
Yes.
What drug do you think is the most addictive?
LSD.
Okay, thank you. Hello, can I ask you some questions?
Yes.
Okay, so what drugs do you think are commonly abused?
I think marijuana, cocaine are the most common.
What do you think is a drug addiction?
Is when a person can leave the drugs. Is usually always taking them, always using them because he's like it's become part of him.
Do you know what a detoxification is? Have you ever considered taking drugs?
Not really.
Oh. What drug do you think is the most addictive?
I don't know. I think cocaine because as far as I know, it's the most used and the most like addictive.
Okay. Well, thank you. Hello, can I ask you some questions?
Yes.
Okay. So, what drugs do you think are commonly abused?
I think marijuana, cocaine are the most common.
What do you think is a drug addiction?
Is when a person can leave the drugs. Is usually always taking them, always using them because he's like it's become part of him.
Do you know what a detoxification is? Have you ever considered taking drugs?
Not really.
Oh. What drug do you think is the most addictive?
I don't know. I think cocaine because as far as I know, it's the most used and the most like addictive.
Okay. Well,
Hello, I'm Benito. I'm going to ask you some questions, okay?
Yes, please, perfect.
What drugs do you think are commonly abused?
Well, I think that the marijuana and the cocaine are the most commonly drugs that is in the world.
Okay. What is a drug addiction?
Is when you consume a substance that is beneficial to your life and you commonly consume it.
Okay. What is a detox?
I don't know, sorry.
No problem. Have you ever considered taking drugs?
No.
No?
Never.
Okay. What drug do you think is the most addictive?
I think that is the marijuana or same the cocaine are a lot of drugs that are very addictive and everyone has the different substance.
Well, thank you.
Maybe I come ask you some questions.
Yeah, sure.
So, what drug do you think are commonly abused?
Commonly abused, like the ecstasies, the cocaine, mostly the heroin, all that stuff that is like another grade of addictivity, of course.
So, what is a drug addiction?
A drug addiction is when you can't control the consume of a product, in this case a drug, and you need some help sometimes.
What is detoxification or detox?
I really don't know.
Have you ever considered taking drugs?
Yeah, several times. Yeah, why not?
What drug do you think is the most addictive?
The cocaine, because it's one of the most common and it's like high rate of addiction. And I don't think that like marijuana is like so much addictive because it doesn't have chemical properties that say that, but most people think other things.
Oh, thanks. Do you want to marry? Hello, can we ask you some questions?
Yeah.
So, what drug do you think are commonly abused?
Like everything, like coke, marijuana, alcohol, even cigarettes. I don't know, very.
Okay. What is drug addiction?
Like to be
Have the necessity of consuming something.
Okay.
Do you know what is detoxification or detox?
No, really.
No? Okay. Have you ever considered taking drugs?
No, ever.
Ever?
No.
Okay. And finally?
What drug do you think is the most addictive?
Like coke. Since the first time you consume it, you're like addicted.
The same cook.
Okay.
Thanks.